Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Well, we have some news from the Biden administration. Yes, it seems that the great people of the dictatorship seems to want to be going after our First Amendment rights. Oh, really? You're shocked by this? Well, I'm not. But, of course, I don't think you guys are either. So, I think the one thing that we should probably go over this is this right here from Alex, or ALX if you want to really, go for it. It says, breaking, the Biden administration has officially filed a notice of appeal in the Missouri v. Biden censorship case after a federal judge issued a preliminary injunction order barring government officials from contacting social media companies to suppress lawful speech. I had somebody, I think I've said this before, but my niece pretty much saying, family member, saying that, oh, well, they're not going to be going after your rights about 3 years ago. It's a little bit odd onto why the Biden administration is filing a notice to appeal the Missouri versus Biden censorship thing, considering the fact that they have been caught actually trying to censor people in our country by using social media, of course. So, not only do they want to very closely and very rapidly try to censor our speech by talking to the social media companies, they also want to remove or get this entirely out. Now, you guys have to think. If the Biden administration was, went to go to talk to social medias and stuff like that, and that they wanted to, they trying to use it to censor people's speech, which they obviously did, and then we go down to this road here, that then they're going to file they're filing this appeal so they can remove this. They want the ability to remove the First Amendment. This is quite obvious, because in order to do this, you would have to be against the First Amendment to begin with. Like, this is just obvious. So like if you are being told by the judge, okay, no, you're in violation of the actual First Amendment law, that you are in constitutional law, that you are now, that essentially you are trying to prohibit the people's free speech. You've been shown to do this. We're putting a temporary hold on this, where you can't contact any social medias or whatever, and you are now filing an appeal to remove this. That means you're against free speech, which means you want to get rid of the First Amendment, and you want to be able to use your dictatorship to control people of the American people. This is obvious. I said this back in even 2021 to where this person was a dictator. Of course, I didn't start my YouTube channel until 2022, so this stuff might be new to you all. But obviously, this is a huge violation of the First Amendment, and the fact that they're doing this shows they don't even care about people's First Amendment rights or free speech. We have this from here, obviously from the New York Times, that we have rulings put social media at a crossroads of disinformation and free speech. We're going to go over this very briefly here because, it's kind of important. At the Centers of Disease and Control and Prevention, officials held weekly sync meetings with Facebook, once emailing the company's 16 misinformation posts. And in the summer of 2021, the Surgeon General's top aide repeatedly urged Google, Facebook, and Twitter to do more to combat disinformation. Again, a violation of the First Amendment. Because you can't just use these companies as disinformation tools and ban people's freedom of speech or saying whatever. Now, that's a problem. You can't do this. The examples are among dozens of interactions described in a 155-page ruling by a federal judge in Louisiana, who on Tuesday imposed temporary but far-reaching limits on how members of Mr. Biden's administration can engage with social media companies. The government appealed the ruling on Wednesday. Yes, because, again, he was talking to these social media companies to enact censorship. This is within the Twitter files, which I've gone over, by the way, in this on this channel, and that that's a huge violation of the First Amendment. Again, the freedom of speech is being encroached here. It's being violated on, and this is things that need to happen. That doesn't need to happen in our society, or at least in our country. Now, if the other countries want to allow this, well, those are those people's problem. But here in America, the great USA, we don't allow that BS here. The case is a flashpoint in the broader effort by conservatives to document what they contend is a liberal conspiracy by Democrats and tech companies executives to silence their views. Which, this has been quite obvious that this is happening. This is not really a surprise here or a joke or a lie. This has been happening. The Twitter files have shown this. There's no conspiracy theory, all right? This is not a hoax. This is not a lie. This is shown to be true by the Twitter files and what the Biden administration was doing, all right? It taps into theory on the right about how social media companies have treated stories about the origins of COVID, the 2020 election, and Hunter Biden and the president's son. Yes, if for some apparent reason, all these crazy lifts and stuff like that, the COVID thing, especially when Biden came in, started to lift away, started to fade away in memory. As soon as Biden got a hold, the COVID thing kind of just went away into the dust. It didn't exist. The final outcome and shape of the future First Amendment law in a rapidly changing media environment and alter how far the government can go in trying to prevent the spread of potentially dangerous information, particularly in an election or during emergencies like a pandemic. The government's actions at the heart of the case were attended largely as public health measures, but to this order instead view the issue through the filter of partisan culture wars, asking whether the government violated the First Amendment by unlawfully threatening the social media companies to censor speech that Biden's administration found distasteful and potentially harmful to the public. Exactly. Again, you are using the media platforms to censor people. As I said before in my last video, or my video yesterday, was that the government can't go out and say, you can't say this, and then arrest you for it. Because, again, that'd be a huge violation of the First Amendment. The federal government can't do this. But if the federal government has somebody else do it on their behalf, that's not really part of the government, but, inclined to tell these companies to do this, then, well, that's still a violation of the First Amendment. It just makes it harder to prove, but, again, this is the government we're doing this for. The case brought by 2 Republican attorneys general and 5 individuals who campaigned against masks argued that vaccines did not work, opposed lockdowns, and pushed drugs that medical experts denounced as ineffective, like ivermectin, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name. You guys and doctors can go and do that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to try. And it is being overseen by Judge Terry Doty, who was previously appointed by President Donald J. Trump, and has previously expressed little skepticism about debunked claims from vaccine to skeptics. So, yeah, again, here we have this. The judge's preliminary judgment is already having an impact, yes, of course, as it should. An administration official said the Justice Department was examining the judge's lengthy order to determine what activities must be halted when it comes to commuting their concerns about the spread of misinformation. Yeah. But, again, the thing is here is that, I don't like using this thing very much, but the thing is that a lot of these media companies and websites or what have you are really fine with censor of speech and free speech. Again, what we're seeing here is that even if you go to the disinformation part with the authoritarian stuff, the authoritarian is to make lies, public propaganda, etc., make disinformation, more of a thing, and that's what the authoritarianism is. This is what Biden is doing in this sense. This is the reason why I call him a dictator, because it's exactly what this guy was. He's a dictator by trying to dictate on what people can't say and can do. And they had a heavy influence in social media and all throughout the entire administration. But we have at least some positives here. We're having that Trump leads Biden in swing states that will decide the 2024 election. New poll spells disaster for president with third-party candidates Cornel West taking away votes he needs to win. I mean, this is not really a surprise, no? That Trump is doing this. The whole attack on Trump and what we're seeing here, that 67% of people find that all the attacks or charges against Trump are 67%, by the way, are political and not really in the realms of the actual law. As we've been saying, as I've been seeing here on this channel, there's like a two-party system, and that two-party system is, well, anybody that is on the far left, they don't get punished for it. But everybody that's anywhere on the conservative middle ground or what have you, doesn't really follow the doctrine of the Biden administration or the far left, they're deemed as evil and bad. So they get to be arrested, etc., and punished. There's a lot of things that needs to be discussed here and going through, because there's a lot of crazy stuff that's been going on. But again, we're seeing the actual full power of what Joe Biden and their administration is doing. they're really trying to censor speech. They're really trying to go after to what we deemed as normal in our society, what held this country to be so strong to begin with. They're trying to eradicate it. We can't let this stand. I got a feeling that this will not go by at all through what the Biden administration is trying to do, because they are obviously in a violation of freedom of speech. This is they have no ground or rights to try to censor us at all, or talk to social media companies to censor speech. This is really showing on how authoritarian and how much of a dictatorship they are. They really show their hand this time. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Let's guys share. As always, take care.